a metal like no other. Symbol of wealth, power, divinity. So rare.
For every Indian wedding, gold is a very essential element. Gold enhances the beauty of a woman. It also shows purity.
There's nothing else like it.
Gold is a substance like no other. It is beautiful, desirable, rare, and valuable.
Gold is the shining embodiment of wealth. Not only is it used to make expensive products, but it's also used to add extra bling to luxurious items, from smartphones to supercars.
The gold in your ring or necklace comes from deep space through a cosmic collision.
What's been discovered is the merger of two dense neutron stars.
When neutron stars collide, they spew a high amount of gold.
What they produced was a ripple in space-time that was detected as gravitational waves,
thus sending gravitational shivers through the universe.
And in that radioactive debris, we see signals of formation of many of the heavy elements around us, all of the gold and platinum and other precious metals.
So astronomers detected the aftermath of the merger on Earth in 2017.
There's enough material produced in these events to basically see the entire galaxy and the Earth with all these heavy metals that we find around us.
For the first time, they could see the source of universe warping forces that Albert Einstein predicted a century ago.
These events produced large amounts of gold, maybe hundreds of Earth masses worth of gold, and even more platinum, maybe 500 Earth masses worth of platinum.
Highly valuable, a metal of supernatural beauty and origin, created from stardust.
The dark side of gold is the destruction of the environment.
The legend of Yamashita's gold is one of the greatest stories of war loot in history.
Yamashita's gold is wealth beyond belief.
A symbol of luxury, glamour, and wealth, gold is the stuff dreams are made of.
Scientists have been combing the galaxy to figure out where these so-called heavy elements come from.
Over many centuries, civilizations across the globe became enamored with the beautiful metal, such as the ancient Egyptians. Not only did they use it as a currency, they also buried themselves in gold.
But gold also has a dark side. It has financed civil wars and led to ecological disasters and human rights abuses.
By 1942, the Japanese Imperial Army had successfully invaded all of Southeast Asia. As they advanced, they mercilessly ransacked country after country.
King Tutankhamun was laid to rest in 3 gold-wrapped coffins, the innermost of which was made from sheets of pure beaten gold, which would now be worth over $1 million.
They stole on a massive scale, reportedly unrivaled in military history.
Alexander used well-known images from Greek mythology. The goddess Nike represented victory. Athena was shown as a warrior goddess. The message was clear. Almost all the gold ever produced still exists.
It's an extremely violent cosmic event, a collision between 2 neutron stars.
What becomes of the gold after the explosion? The expanding supernova shockwave propels its elemental debris through the interstellar medium.
It's exciting to think that something that's so kind of far out and distant in space is closely connected to something as is home in terms of the ring on your finger, gold chain around your neck.
Pops, I came to the pawn shop today to see if I could sell my old gold bar.
Before 1971, it was against the law to own this.
Basically, astronomers saw gold and platinum being made in real time.
We are at Chopard's in Geneva, in the creative workshop. Here, the most important material is gold.
C'est du bon or, 18 carats.
The jewelry that I should wear.
Yes.
Who gets to wear the most gold? Nobody wears more gold than the king.
The Ashanti have an old saying, gold is king. It's rare to be granted a personal audience with the king, so to meet the great man is a genuine honor. Gold transformed the Ashanti kingdom and economy.
According to Roland, MacArthur alerted President Truman to the war loot hidden in the Philippines, effectively launching a covert American operation to extract the treasure.
It can take up to 10 years for geologists, chemists, and engineers to examine a potential site, and even then, the likelihood of a mine being developed into a productive gold mine is less than 0.1%.
They're carrying a good 12 kilos each. pickaxes, metal detectors, provisions, a few cans of beer.
Mr. Strauss became what I consider the most successful of all California Gold Rush businessmen by far.
This infrastructure, built to power the mine, will be here long after it's closed. This gold mine has transformed the local economy and the lives of the people who live here.
Some speculate MacArthur and Truman pursued Yamashita's treasure to build a war chest to finance covert operations against the Soviets.
Jewelry always has a story. It stands for luxury, for emotions. You don't buy a piece of jewelry because you're bored.
Over millions of years, water picked up gold, transported, sorted, and concentrated it.
Some of the challenges aren't necessarily associated purely with mine production. They could be associated with the environments within which they're operating.
Roger surmises that they must have hid some of the treasure around his town. So he looks around his town right from the start.
Metalor, a Swiss company which is the #1 gold bar manufacturer in the world. Its role is to purify the gold and then melt it.
Licenses that people need to operate, whether it's a formal license from a government or a social license from a local community.
Mercury that is used for extracting the gold should be collected in protective drums and then specially treated. But here it is just poured into the river, and the highly toxic vapor it produces is dispersed into the atmosphere. It is estimated that each year more than 50 tons of mercury are released here.
The collision of two neutron stars in space forged gold atoms together into meteorites, which crashed into Earth about 3.9 billion years ago.
The proceeds of ruthless Japanese loot throughout Asia during World War II. Yamashita's gold is one of the greatest treasure hoards ever known.
Every time the water rises and then starts, you can come out here and find gold laying on the bedrock.
That it's seen as a kind of divine favor has fueled the gold myth.
The treasure of the Nibelungs. People are still searching for gold in the Rhine today. The artificial production of gold would have been the opus magnum, the masterpiece of alchemy.
You weren't allowed to have more than, I think, 5 ounces of gold in your house, period. It was a federal offense.
Beef steaks.
In today's currency, it represents over $100 billion in value.
Ferdinand Marcos ruled the Philippines from 1965 to 1986. He allegedly killed 1,000 of his own citizens and stole over $5 billion from the national treasury.
An area the size of Bangkok, that is 1,500 square kilometers of forest, have been destroyed and the soil contaminated.
The Royal Mint built a reputation over centuries for coins that contained the right amounts of metal in the correct purity.
Gold mining captured people's imagination during the Great US Gold Rush. The first was in 1799, after 12-year-old Conrad Reed discovered a huge 17-pound gold nugget on his family's farm in North Carolina.
In extreme contrast to the million-year transformation of hydrogen to helium, the creation of the heaviest elements in a supernova takes place in only seconds. Gold is extraterrestrial. Instead of arising from the planet's rocky crust, it was actually cooked up in space and is present on Earth because of cataclysmic stellar explosions.